Hello everyone and welcome back to Art with Mrs. Hudson. Today we are going to talk about drawing portraits. So when we're drawing portraits, we want to try to get our proportions of our facial features correct so that everything looks good together and works well together. So the way that we're going to do this is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start out with drawing a circle and then adding on our chin. The other option is to just draw an upside down egg, like an oval shape. Everybody's heads are a little bit different, but typically our top of our head would be like a circle, and then we want to add on the chin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with my circle. Remember, you want to be working with a pencil because you are going to have to erase some of your lines today. Now, one tip I want to tell you is when you're drawing a circle, a lot of times it's really hard to get a good circle. So I use my shoulder instead of my wrist for drawing my circle. So I move my whole arm and I keep kind of going in a circle and going in a circle and going in a circle. And then when I think I'm about there, I'm going to start to draw my circle. So there is my circle. So now what I'll do is I'll darken up the top of my circle. And then because I'm going to erase this bottom line, I'm just going to bring that line down to create the shape of his face. So his face he almost has like a pointier chin. So I'm going to make a pointier chin for his chin. So now our goal when we're creating a portrait is to create a picture that shows a resemblance of the person that we're looking at. So I'm going to erase that half a circle that I don't need, get that out of there, erase some of my extra lines. So now if you notice, I do use a lot of extra lines because eventually I can erase them, and when I'm coloring, I can cover over them. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to split our face in half. So I'm going to draw a really light line down the middle of my face. Then I have to split it in half equally this way, horizontally and vertically. So we have a big X on our face. So from the top to the bottom, approximately in the center. Once we have our center vertical line and our horizontal line through the middle here, we're then going to draw our eyes on the line. So we want to be able to fit about one eye in between our two eyes. So about in the middle of this section and about in the middle of this section is where our eyes are going to go. Then we're going to draw, if you think of like a football shape over the top. And then we're going to draw the football shape. I made my circles a little too big. Don't make your circles that big. I'm going to shrink up the circle before I finish and erase the inside line. So you're going to make your lines touch the bottom and the top of your circles. And we're actually going to make these lines another line below the top line that goes over our circle. So if you think about it, our eyeballs are circles inside. So we're gonna make our eyelids cover over the circle a little bit, because remember, we don't see his whole eye, right? So I'm gonna erase my inside lines. All right, so now the next step is going to be figuring out where to put our nose. So our nose is about halfway between this line for our eyes and our chin. So we're going to make a little line right here, and then halfway between our nose and our chin is where our mouth is going to go. So I'm going to make another line right here. So now for my nose, I'm going to start out with a U shape, and then I'm going to make some curves that come around each side. So almost like a C and a backwards C, kind of. And then you can color in where the nostrils are. And then we're going to start with our mouth. We're going to start with our center line of our mouth. So the line that's in the middle goes right on this line. So I'm going to draw that line, and then I'm going to look at my person's lips and see about how big are his lips. He's got really thin, tall lip on, or really thin lip at the top, and it kind of fades into that line. And then his lip at the bottom is a little bit bigger, and we're going to make his bottom lip. Okay, so now that we have our eyes, our nose, and our mouth laid out, now we want to figure out where our eyebrows would be, because everybody has some eyebrows. His are really light, but I'm just going to kind of draw almost like a U shape over top of his eyes. I don't want to draw them completely in because I'll probably add more color when I color in my picture. So now in the middle of our eyes, we usually have what's called our pupil, which is dark. And then we have some texture a lot around our eyes, so you may want to sketch in some texture, and then when you color over it, you'll see kind of lines. As you're coloring, if you want, you can leave a little space of white, maybe like a little shine of white on your eyes, because a lot of times our light reflects off of our eyes. All right, so now the next thing, if you have really long lashes, you might want to add some lashes. A lot of times for boys, our lashes tend to make it look a little more girly. So I'm just going to do really small lashes, very few lashes, because this is a boy. The next thing is between our ears and our nose. If we were to draw this line all the way over, our ears come in right about here. So now our ears, you're going to just start on the head, have the ear touch the line, and when it touches the line, you want to start coming back down. And you can kind of look at your person's ears. Everybody's ears are a little different. He's got some wobbly little ears here. And then over on this side, same thing. Do the top of my ear. And then at the bottom of this one, I actually see the ear lobe go up a little bit more. All right, so now that we have our ears, we need to add our hairline. So right now I have a bald boy. So my hairline is going to come down a little bit, and then it goes up. And then it comes right down to the top of his ear. His hair might come out a little bit farther on the top, a little less rounded, a little more And then the last thing we need to do is erase all of our lines, and then we can go ahead and add our color. Oh, one more thing. I don't want you to forget. We want to always make sure that we give our person our neck. because without the neck, you have a floating head. So we want to make sure we put the neck and the shoulders on our person. So I'm going to draw his shirt on each side. So his neck kind of comes down and then his shirt goes off to the sides. I'm going to kind of create the same type of neckline that his shirt in the picture has. Maybe even draw a button. All right, so if I add the collar, I think it would even give it more interesting look to it. All right, so the last thing is we want to erase those lines down the center, and then we can go ahead and we can start adding our color. However you want to add your color. You can use crayons, markers, colored pencils, paint. If you have paint, that would be awesome. If you don't have tools, you could also use colored paper and do like a collage style portrait. Inside my ears, I'm gonna draw like the tops of the ears inside here so that we see those. All right, so my eyes look a little bit too large, but that's okay. I still think it turned out pretty nice. I'm just gonna give him some more textured hair. So now when I go in to add my color, I want to make sure that I add in a couple different colors for his hair, because his hair is not one color. There's a lot of different colors because of the way that the light's reflecting off of it. Same thing with his skin. You can always add a lighter tone and a darker tone of your color. If you have more than one colors you can use. All right, have fun drawing your portraits.